hard to believe how far Stellantis has fallen. Once the parent company of legendary brands like Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, it's now under fire from frustrated customers and overwhelmed dealerships. Take the Jeep Wagoneer, a luxury SUV with a jaw-dropping price tag of $80,000. But what are buyers getting for that money? Leaking roofs, faulty electronics, and tires wearing out after just 15,000 miles. Worst decision of my life, says one outraged customer, whose video of water dripping into the cabin has gone viral. And it's not just Jeep. Ram trucks, the workhorse of America, are now priced out of reach for most buyers, starting at nearly $70,000. Dodge, the roar of its iconic V8 engines is being replaced by the faint hum of electric motors, leaving muscle car fans outraged. But what's really behind this collapse? In this video, we're exposing how Stellantis' ruthless cost-cutting and sky-high prices are destroying Dodge, Ram, and Jeep, and what it means for the future of American vehicles. For decades, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram stood as symbols of American ingenuity, quality, and rugged design. From the rough and ready Jeep Wranglers to the unmistakable growl of a Dodge Challenger, these brands were more than just cars, they were cultural icons. But Stellantis, formed through the merger of Fiat Chrysler and France's PSA Group, has taken a wrecking ball to this legacy. Let's start with Jeep. Once the gold standard for off-road vehicles, Jeep's reputation is now sinking faster than a Wagoneer's resale value. Under Stellantis, quality has taken a nosedive. Customers report brand new Jeeps rolling off the lot with issues ranging from electronic malfunctions to shoddy plastic components that simply don't hold up. And the prices. A basic Jeep Wrangler Sport now starts at nearly $58,000. That's for cloth seats, minimal tech, and none of the off-road enhancements Jeep is known for. Want something better equipped, like the Rubicon? Be prepared to fork over well above $70,000. Ram is facing a similar crisis. Once revered for its durability and affordability, Ram trucks are now priced so high they're alienating their core buyers. The average Ram 2500 heavy-duty truck, nearly $87,000. Even the base models, stripped down with plastic interiors and no added features, start at over $44,000. These price tags don't just alienate working class buyers, they betray the very ethos Ram was built on. And Dodge, the muscle car giant that once defined American performance, is being rebranded into something unrecognizable. Stellantis' push toward electrification has sidelined the V8 engines that made cars like the Charger and Challenger legendary. Instead, Dodge fans are being offered the Hornet, a compact crossover that feels more Fiat than American muscle, and it starts at nearly $50,000. The problem isn't just the prices, it's the perception. Stellantis has tried to reposition these brands as luxury players in the market, aiming for higher margins, but they've alienated the very people who built their success. Loyal, hardworking Americans who want reliable, affordable vehicles, not overpriced, underwhelming options that fail to deliver. So how did Stellantis go from embracing these iconic brands to undermining everything they stand for? And with new competition heating up from Tesla, Rivian, and even GM, can Jeep, Dodge, and Ram survive this identity crisis? Stick around as we uncover how cost-cutting, misplaced priorities, and a CEO with a controversial legacy are reshaping and potentially ruining these beloved brands. When Stellantis was created in 2021, there was a wave of optimism, a merger that combined Fiat Chrysler, Peugeot Citroën, and several other automakers under one roof seemed like a golden opportunity to revolutionize the automotive world. It was touted as a partnership that would bring together the best of engineering, innovation, and global resources. But instead of leveraging these advantages, Stellantis made profitability its sole mission, sidelining quality, heritage, and customer satisfaction in the process. And while shareholders celebrated the early gains, the American brands of Jeep, Dodge, and Ram have paid the price. One of Stellantis' first moves under the leadership of Carlos Tavares was a series of aggressive cost-cutting measures. Over 40,000 jobs were eliminated globally in the first 3 years. The goal was clear: reduce overhead and boost profits at any cost. In the United States, the cuts hit hard. Factories that once produced iconic American vehicles now sit idle, casting a long shadow over the communities that depended on them. A prime example is the Belvidere Assembly Plant in Illinois, which was shut down in 2024. This plant had been building Jeep models for decades, but Stellantis decided to move production to Mexico, leaving 2,500 workers unemployed. The consequences rippled far beyond the plant gates. Local businesses, from diners to gas stations, saw their customer base vanish overnight. Families who had relied on steady manufacturing jobs were left to wonder what the future held. This wasn't just a loss of employment, it was the unraveling of a community. And while factories were closing, Stellantis was making deep cuts to suppliers and manufacturing processes. Cheaper materials became the norm, and production timelines were rushed to meet cost-saving targets. The result? A noticeable decline in the quality of vehicles. Take the Jeep Wrangler, for example. Once celebrated for its rugged durability, newer models now suffer from problems like paint bubbling, faulty hinges, and electrical issues. Ram trucks, another iconic American brand, have faced repeated recalls for transmission failures, wiring problems, and other defects. Dodge, which built its reputation on muscle cars and raw power, now struggles with inconsistent build quality. It's not just about the vehicles, it's about what they represent. Jeep, Dodge, and Ram were symbols of American craftsmanship and reliability. Now they're seen as overpriced and underwhelming. Stellantis didn't just cut costs, they shifted their entire strategy. Instead of building reliable mid-range vehicles for everyday Americans, they aim to target luxury buyers, but the execution has been disastrous. Consider the Jeep Wagoneer, reintroduced as a high-end SUV with a starting price of $80,000. This was supposed to be a flagship model, a bold statement about Jeep's place in the luxury market. Instead, customers complain about water leaks, cheap plastic parts, and misaligned panels, issues you wouldn't expect in a vehicle half the price. Ram followed suit with inflated pricing. Even the most basic 2024 Ram 1500 Tradesman, stripped of features and comfort, costs over $44,000. Meanwhile, models equipped with more powerful engines or additional features can easily exceed $80,000. And then there's Dodge. Known for its muscle cars and roaring V8 engines, Dodge has alienated its core fans with decisions like introducing the Dodge Hornet. This compact SUV, priced near $50,000, is widely seen as a rebadged Fiat, an insult to Dodge's legacy. These pricing decisions have alienated traditional buyers, leaving Stellantis American brands struggling to connect with their audience. The relentless pursuit of profit has come at a steep cost. Stellantis has undermined the very qualities that made Jeep, Dodge, and Ram beloved by generations of Americans. By prioritizing luxury pricing over quality, they've alienated loyal customers and failed to attract new ones. But Stellantis' troubles don't end there. In the next part, we'll explore how competitors like Ford and General Motors are gaining ground with smarter strategies, and why Stellantis' decision to move production to Mexico might be the final nail in the coffin for its American brands. While Stellantis struggles to maintain a foothold in the competitive auto industry, rivals like Ford and General Motors are not only weathering the storm, but thriving. Their strategic decisions highlight the stark contrast between innovation-led growth and Stellantis' profit-centric cost-cutting approach. This divergence raises pressing questions about whether Stellantis can adapt in time to survive, or if it will lose its place in the automotive market altogether. Ford and General Motors, longtime stalwarts of American manufacturing, have responded to industry shifts with bold strategies that embrace change. Take Ford, for instance. The company has poured billions into expanding its electric vehicle lineup. The Mustang Mach-E has become a standout, offering the allure of an iconic brand coupled with cutting-edge EV technology. Its accessible pricing makes it a viable option for everyday consumers, not just luxury buyers. GM, on the other hand, has been equally ambitious. The Chevrolet Silverado EV is positioned to redefine the electric truck segment, blending performance with affordability. GM has committed to making its entire lineup electric by 2035, a monumental task that's already gaining traction as models like the Bolt and Hummer EV hit the market. But Ford and GM aren't just about electrification, they've also managed to keep their gas-powered vehicles relevant by focusing on quality, reliability, and features that resonate with American buyers. For instance, Ford's F-Series trucks, the best-selling vehicles in the United States for decades, continue to dominate because they consistently deliver what customers want: performance, durability, and value. While Ford and GM invest in innovation and quality, Stellantis has taken a different route, one that prioritizes short-term gains at the expense of long-term success. The company's relentless cost-cutting measures have led to a cascade of issues, from declining vehicle quality to alienated workers and customers. Consider the Jeep Wagoneer. Marketed as a luxury SUV, it entered the market with a price tag upwards of $80,000. Yet customer complaints about build quality, reliability, and lack of features have undermined undermined its appeal. Buyers paying premium prices expect premium products, and Stellantis hasn't delivered. The same story plays out across Stellantis' other brands. Ram Trucks, once a strong competitor to Ford's F-Series, now face dwindling demand due to skyrocketing prices and quality concerns. And Dodge, famous for its muscle cars, risks losing its identity as internal combustion engines are phased out in favor of underwhelming hybrid and electric offerings. This is reflected in dealership lots overflowing with unsold Stellantis vehicles. According to industry reports, Stellantis cars now spend an average of 140 to 150 days on lots before being sold, almost twice the industry standard. The impact of Stellantis' decisions isn't confined to dealerships and buyers, it reverberates across entire communities. The closure of the Belvidere assembly plant, which employed thousands, is a stark reminder of how corporate strategies can devastate local economies. Small businesses that relied on the factory's workforce have seen revenues plummet, creating a ripple effect of hardship. Even within Stellantis' remaining facilities, layoffs and outsourcing have taken a toll on morale. Workers at the Warren Truck plant, responsible for building the Wagoneer, have seen their workforce nearly halved since 2022. With production increasingly shifting to Mexico, the future of American manufacturing under Stellantis looks bleak. With Carlos Tavares stepping down as CEO, Stellantis finds itself at a crossroads. The company can continue its cost-cutting approach, risking further alienation of workers and customers, or pivot toward investment and innovation. The clock is ticking, and the decisions made in the coming months will determine whether Stellantis can regain its footing or if it will join the ranks of once great automakers that failed to adapt. What does the future hold for Stellantis, and can its iconic brands like Jeep, Ram, and Dodge reclaim their glory? In the final part, we'll explore the bold moves Stellantis must make to survive, and whether it's already too late. The resignation of Carlos Tavares marked the end of an era at Stellantis, but it also opened the door to a critical question: where does the company go from here? With record profits overshadowed by plummeting customer trust and worker morale, Stellantis finds itself at a tipping point. Will this leadership change be the spark that reignites its American brands, or is it simply too late to reverse the damage? The next step Stellantis takes won't just determine the future of Jeep, Ram, and Dodge. They will define whether Stellantis can remain competitive in a rapidly evolving auto industry. The incoming leadership inherits a company in crisis. Carlos Tavares may have delivered short-term gains for shareholders, but his tenure left Stellantis' American brands struggling to connect with consumers. Jeep's reputation as a rugged, reliable choice is now tarnished by high prices and quality concerns. Ram, once a leader in the truck market, is falling behind competitors due to bloated inventory and dwindling sales. Dodge, known for its muscle cars, faces an identity crisis as it transitions away from its iconic V8-powered vehicles. The new CEO's immediate challenge will be to bridge the trust gap. Workers demand better treatment and stronger job security after years of layoffs and outsourcing. Dealers and customers want better vehicles at prices that make sense. Balancing these demands with the expectations of shareholders will require strategic focus, transparency, and, above all, bold action. To rebuild its reputation, Stellantis must start where the problems are most visible: quality and manufacturing. The Jeep Wagoneer's issues with materials and reliability have become a symbol of the company's broader struggles. Customers willing to pay upwards of $80,000 expect vehicles that not only look premium, but also perform reliably. Addressing these quality control failures is non-negotiable. At the same time, Stellantis must reinvest in its workforce. The idling of the Belvidere assembly plant and layoffs across key facilities have sent shockwaves through American communities. Reopening Belvidere, alongside commitments to US-based manufacturing, could provide a much-needed boost to morale and public perception. This is about more than jobs. It's about restoring faith in Stellantis as a brand that cares about its workers and its customers. The electric vehicle revolution represents both a challenge and an opportunity for Stellantis. While competitors like Ford and Tesla have surged ahead with innovative and accessible EVs, Stellantis' efforts have fallen flat. High prices and a lack of compelling features have kept its electric models out of reach for most consumers. This has to change. Stellantis must develop EVs that resonate with its core audience. Vehicles that combine Jeep's ruggedness, Ram's utility, and Dodge's performance edge with the benefits of electrification. Additionally, partnerships to expand charging infrastructure and investments in battery technology are critical to making EV ownership practical and appealing. A well-executed EV strategy could be the lifeline Stellantis needs to stay relevant in a market that's shifting away from traditional combustion engines. The next chapter for Stellantis hinges on its ability to reconnect with American consumers. Brands like Jeep, Ram, and Dodge have deep roots in American culture, but their appeal has waned under Stellantis' cost-cutting strategy. Rebuilding this connection requires more than flashy ads. It demands meaningful changes. Pricing must be addressed head-on. Stellantis cannot continue pricing itself out of the market, especially as inflation and economic pressures weigh on consumers. Competitive pricing, paired with high-quality vehicles, will be key to winning back buyers who've turned to Ford, Chevrolet, or other brands. The company must also lean into its strengths. Jeep's off-road legacy, Ram's workhorse reputation, and Dodge's performance heritage are assets that can't be ignored. By doubling down on what makes these brands special and adapting them to modern consumer needs, Stellantis can carve out a path to recovery. Stellantis stands at a crossroads. The company's next moves will determine whether it can reclaim its place as a leader in the automotive industry, or if it will fade further into irrelevance. With a new CEO at the helm and a chance to course correct, Stellantis has an opportunity to rebuild, but time is not on its side. What do you think Stellantis should do to turn things around? Are the iconic brands of Jeep, Ram, and Dodge salvageable, or is the damage already done? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more in-depth looks at the biggest stories shaping the auto industry.